Here's another important thing. We told in the previous part of the show that Americans fabricate all this hysteria campaign about the tube. However, the quality changes of the relationship between US and Europe and in the world itself are obvious and allowed to use this far-fetched hysteria. Look, we say these reasons are fake. This is hysteria. Thank you for pulling up the fact that the first gas supply started during the war in Afghanistan. There was a war in Afghanistan we were blamed for, by the way. But it didn't become a reason for Europe not to buy Soviet, Russian, Siberian or whatever you call the gas from Soviet Union then. And now they say it's impossible because there's a situation taking place in eastern Ukraine and there's another one in Crimea, which is an obvious lie, but they managed to change the situation enough in order to make this enough reason to develop such companies. It wasn't enough reason back then, but it became now. Why? Nikolay Vasilyevich, that's because the sovereignty is degrading under the America's pressure as they enforce nothing but their own sovereignty for everyone, saying that the globalization is good. And the sovereignty isn't. When the sovereignty degrades, it's possible to impose all kinds of ghosts and use those to try to rule other countries. That was the first thing. Here's the second one. Some of the countries of Eastern Europe joined the Euro Union. As a result of this expansion, these are the countries seriously infected with this hysteria. While Americans simply lie and cheat and trick, Polacks, Balts and some other Eastern Europeans are really sick with this Russophobia, hate and historical revenge, complex and so on. They bring such mood to the united Europe where their phobia turns to a real political factor. And the Americans simply use the situation for their benefit. So these changes and the sovereignty degradation in general make the common sense back up in front of all kind of phantoms and ghosts, meaning this is the globalization is sure one of the tools used for destroying the common sense. If trading is profitable, let's prohibit it. You are not allowed to trade because, and then they start taking out these ghosts. Regarding the words of Evgeniy Ivanovich that in reality there is no decent alternative to gas from Russia, there are some other sources, but definitely not the liquid gas from the USA. Americans know that. That's why they are using sanctions. They understand that their liquid gas is not required in Europe due to a high price. What else can they do? They push and strangle. That's what the sanctions are. Sanctions is what they are going to apply, no matter what exactly sanctions there will be. There will be the sanctions that allow Americans to take the benefit from others' actions and to twist other nations' arms. That's why they will push, so the globalization, allow me to loop this thought here, the globalization will allow, as well as the degrade of a sovereign political will, it gives them a chance to do this. Despite the common sense and all the benefits of Russian gas, they will act through international corporations that belong to US market at their business. They will twist hands there and do just like with the sanctions against the Iran. Look, the sanctions against Iran, all the European politics say, no way, it's not possible. What do the European companies say? They say, yes, we'd rather obey that. Why? Because USA wants to. That's your equation, Mr. Americans. This is it. It's a fake from the beginning to the end, all of it. It's against the common sense of the economical competition. How much times did we hear from our Western colleagues of partners, you name it, from the times of Soviet Union, like, you are living in a crazy reserve while the rest of the world advances through a fair market competition. One shows the best item, the other one buys it. The competition works, that's the goal of economics. No, it's a bullcrap. It's not like that at all. It's arms twisted, fake, lie, political pressure and boorishness of all kinds. The goal is the money, the rest doesn't matter at all.